Maybe I should do a video on something other than mecha shows.
How about Parasyte?
That's a great idea! High five!
No, stop, wait!
Parasyte the Maxim is an action suspense science fiction series based on a manga written by Hitoshi Iwaki in 1988. The anime, however, is being produced by Madhouse, known for their work on Hunter x Hunter, No Game No Life and Death Note. But without further ado, I present the Vital 3 review of Parasyte the Maxim. Parasyte is one of those shows that when you tell someone about it, they just start laughing. The premise of a guy has a talking hand is somewhat ridiculous, and it can be hard to take it seriously at first. Although there's definitely more to it than that, and it's the general tone of the show that makes it more interesting than anything else. These alien worm-like creatures known as parasites invade the Earth, or more specifically, human bodies, taking over their brains and manipulating them into the perfect killers. However, when a parasite attempts to take over Shinichi, he manages to stop it by trapping it in his right arm, which it now takes host in. Along with its new handy companion, they go on adventures together, killing mutilated dogs, killing mutilated humans, and violently masturbating. Just a regular weekday, am I right? Yeah, Madhouse holds nothing back in this respect, as this ultra-violent, suspenseful series starts out. In the first episode, in the first few moments, we see one of these violent murders as a parasite cleanly chops off an entire head in a magnificently bloody fashion. It sets the tone early on, and the suspense quickly sets in, as we are constantly reminded of this threat with constant brutal murder scenes. And it's not delivered through shock horror either. Nothing happens particularly suddenly. We know from the start what's going to happen to those that encounter the parasites. If you were to label this as a horror at all, you'd find a better place under the genre of body horror, a subject not often explored that is based around the idea of mutilation or manipulation of the human body and how it can delve into the unnatural. For example, the chest bursters in Alien are a great example of this fear of your own body. Parasyte reflects this with Shinichi's constant fear of his own right arm that is clearly able to kill anything that stands in its way and shows no remorse in killing anything that may threaten its own survival. There's this constant threatening relationship going on in Parasyte, with Shinichi and the parasite that has taken over his right arm, Migi, having a type of antagonistic and tense relationship unique to this type of show. Whilst Migi has no real issues taking the lives of others to secure its own survival, Shinichi is less concerned with self-preservation and willingly jumps into dangerous situations in order to save others. So we get this constant conflict about what to do when disaster strikes, and whether they can really trust each other and who should make the calls. At first, I genuinely couldn't take Migi as a character seriously due to the fact that he is literally just a hand and is somewhat cute. But through this tense context, the novelty just drowns itself in suspense. This is something impressive because the show doesn't actually take itself that seriously all the time. Migi makes things awkward for Shinichi in this high school setting, and there's generally a couple of antics each episode to flesh it out and make it interesting. The fact that it can have these gags whilst maintaining a heavy atmosphere is something that's sure to make it a dynamic show that is full of surprises. Okay, yeah, Madhouse looks great, animation's solid. Now for the real issue. What the hell is up with the sound here? Let's start with the dubstep. Now, I've always considered that act of adaptation as one of taking in the original author's intent and realising it in a way that pays respect to the source material, yet holds its own appeal independently. I can guarantee you that when Iwaki was writing Parasyte in 1988, he wasn't working out when the sick electronic beat would come in. With the soundtrack and the action scenes being entirely made up of different dubstep tracks, it can be very off-putting as they don't particularly work to make it interesting and just exist here as, well, noise. This is especially true in a show that aims to maintain a tense atmosphere. Couple this with honestly some of the weirdest sound effects I've heard in, well, anything, which literally just sounds like someone going whoosh. Oh wait, that's exactly what they are. The sounds being created by voice actor Aya Hirano, who apparently was fed up with just voicing Miggy and would be much more content with making all the whooshing sounds for him as well. It is clearly something experimental, but it just doesn't work here at all. Or anywhere for that matter, as it's little more than a distraction. But overall, you've got a brilliant show when you take some of the action scenes out of the equation. It's far from the traditional version of horror, and I very much doubt that you'll actually be scared by it. But it'll serve to make you feel uncomfortable and holds a massively suspenseful and interesting atmosphere. So the verdict for Parasyte the Maxim is keep watching with excitement. Thank you for watching the Canipa Effect. There is one more Vital 3 review, and then I'll revisit seasonal content later in a full review.